In the third year of fooling the CEO of City A, I found out I was pregnant. They said the CEO was all high and mighty and couldn't handle a woman with a kid. So I took off in the middle of the night. He turned City A upside down. Trying to find me didn't work. When I had to return home, the CEO suddenly showed up, grabbing me by the neck. "Zoe, you still know the way back?" My daughter excitedly hugged his leg. "Mom, this is the daddy I picked for myself." "Oh dear girl, did you have to go and find your real dad?" I was the woman James, the CEO of City A, kept on the side. He was cold and distant. Never really gave a damn about me. Only sometimes in bed. I could feel he was just a tad out of control. But he only ever kept one woman. And that was me 3 whole years. I stared at the pregnancy test in my hand, gripping it tight. After learning James was at the bar, I rushed to see him. I needed to tell him I was pregnant. The private room was quiet. Just as I pushed the door open, I caught a conversation inside. It was his best friend talking. "Your parents have set up an arranged marriage for you, with the Greens princess. She's a beauty, why not go for it?" James barely lifted his gaze. "You like her, you marry her." His buddy shook his head. "Is your woman really that great? Got you all under her spell?" I hoped for him to say something, but nothing came. His friend joked, "What if your girl gets knocked up?" Before he could finish, James set down his glass. His voice was rigid and cold. "I took precautions. She won't get pregnant." "She can't." His friend laughed. "She really does get pregnant, you'd make her get rid of it?" He said nothing. A chill ran through me. Almost forgot. James was always careful about birth control. He couldn't accept a woman with a child. I turned around and tore the pregnancy report into pieces. Found it kind of funny that I even thought for a second he'd be excited about the baby. Much later, I learned someone in that room said something vulgar about me. James smashed his glass, his face cold. That night, James didn't come back. I had a nightmare. Dreamed James was choking me, his eyes murderous. "Who do you think you are? A plaything? How dare you carry the Smith's child?" I was struggling for air, his ice-cold, emotionless face burned into my eyes. I woke with a start. Realized it was just a dream and relaxed. Suddenly remembered, James wasn't just cold and indifferent on the surface. He was a cold-blooded, ruthless monster. 3 years ago, someone set James up with some drugs. When he woke up, I lied, saying he forced himself on me, demanding he protect me for 3 years. Really, I knocked him out that night. All I wanted was a place to belong. Setting him up nearly got me killed. I thought I'd fear him. But over time, I fell in love with him. The wildest thing, his indulgence made me imagine marrying him, having his kids, living like everybody else. But dreams aren't real. I touched my stomach. Now this child is my only kin in the world. I can't let James know about the baby. Can't let him take away my child's right to be born. I called Lucas, James' nemesis. He chuckled. "Zoe finally calling me." Told him to cut the sweet talk. I requested, "Get me out of here, somewhere James can't find me." Lucas promised, gave me a way out without James knowing. But had one condition, distract James for an hour. That hour was my window to escape. Asked why he couldn't just make an excuse. He stayed silent, then laughed. "Zoe, I'll still be alive when you're gone. James finds out, comes for me, my old man would slaughter me." Pursed my lips. "Maybe James won't come after you for me. Just another woman replaceable." I was the low one, used dirty tricks to claim these years. He just hummed, a sound without clear meaning. Begged him, "Once I'm gone, never tell James where I am." He laughed long and hard before agreeing. Felt like he wasn't up to any good, but ignored it. James treated me with an open hand. Let me use his cards freely, never lacking anything. If it were just me, I wouldn't take anything. But for my baby, I had to plan. Spent a couple million at different stores using James' card. Promised the shop owners $1,000 each if they'd cash it out for me. When James got the charges, he called. Voice as always cool and indifferent. "You need something? I'll have Noah get it." I hesitated. "No, I just bought some random stuff." He murmured, seemed only half interested. Out of nowhere, I found the nerve. "James, am I just a plaything to you?" I froze for a couple of seconds. When he stayed silent, I quickly said I was talking nonsense and hung up. Time went by, everything set in motion. When James returned, I was overly lively, drawing close, kissing his chin like crazy. Reached for his lips, kissed him. His grip on my waist tightened, breath getting heavy. Stopped before the line. Made up my period started. He cooled down, palm rested on my belly. Brows knitted. Early period? Eating cold stuff? We'll see a doctor tomorrow. My heart raced, face warm, hurried to brush it off. We don't show our feelings, neither does he. But today, I just wanted to cling, to kiss, to act out. I muttered, craving that cake from West End Market. He replied, I'll have Noah buy it. I can't do it. I leaned in to kiss him, blinking and staring at him. I just want you to go buy it. That store might be about to close, and I really want it today. He got a bit stiff, not used to me acting like this. When our eyes met, he seemed to be probing, and I blinked at him again. He let out a faint sigh. Okay. I went on, just be nice, don't scare the people there. He agreed again. Okay. James never had anyone watch over me. As soon as he left, I immediately called Lucas. Before leaving, I sent a scheduled message. James, let's end it. 3 years is enough. I won't hang on to you anymore. By the time I get to the place, he should receive the message. I must be crazy to think James would go insane trying to find me. Lucas didn't know why I left, but he warned me with one sentence. Since you've left, don't come back. James is crazy, and if he finds out you're toying with him and came back, he might really kill you. But 4 years later I came back. 4 years later, I showed up at the airport, getting ready to return home. After landing, I went to the restroom, and when I came out, my daughter Wendy hugged me. Mama, Wendy just found herself a handsome daddy. I thought she was just joking around. I didn't tell anyone about returning, only my best friend, where Wendy and I are staying temporarily. These years abroad, I built up my own business, becoming a somewhat well-known fashion designer. This time, I came back for 2 reasons. 1, to attend Fashion Week as an invitee. 2, I got word that I might have a sister. Besides my daughter, I have a close kin in this world. I wanted to find her. So I took the risk to come back to City A. 4 years ago, I saw a set of photos taken by someone else. James was lining up at a night market to buy snacks. There was a faint smile on his lips. He even had a box of cake in his hands. People online were puzzled, surprised the CEO showed up at a night market. He always has a cleanliness obsession, avoiding such food stalls and small diners. I still have a few photos of him saved in my phone. Later, when I saw news of him, it was all over the internet about James leading the S Group to global recognition. He was accompanied by a graceful figure, the Green's treasured gem. He was already adored by many. Now the gap between us just widened even more. My best friend asked if I still had feelings for James. I shook my head. I woke up from that dream long ago. As soon as I got back, I started looking into my potential sister's whereabouts. On the day I was to attend Fashion Week, I dropped Wendy off at daycare. There, I settled into my seat. When it was my turn to speak, the spotlight was on me. The host asked about the inspiration for my design. The piece Summer Boat took me 3 years to create during the summer. I spoke confidently on stage. Suddenly, a sharp, dark gaze locked onto me. That's when I noticed, from the second-floor VIP area, a familiar figure hidden in the shadows. Who knows how long he'd been watching? His pitch-black eyes were indifferent and cold, like a beast lurking in the dark, with sharp, icy glare. I felt stiff all over, barely comprehending what the host asked next, or how I answered. Once backstage in the lounge, I finally loosened up. I turned around. A warm hand, like a rush of wind, gripped my neck tightly. The familiar subtle woody scent on him washed over me. A vicious, insidious voice dropped into my heart. Zoe, you remembered to come back? His eyes flashed with obsession, and a hint of a bloody murderous intent. He really is crazy. The madman's hand tightened more. I should just kill you right now. He had every reason to hate me. James, adulated by everyone, was also the Smiths' lone heir. Years went smoothly for him, and I was the only one who toyed with him. My face turned red, coughing violently, tears from the effort slipping out. Yet I couldn't escape his grasp. His dark eyes looked down on me, studying my expression. His other hand casually wiped away the tears at the corner of my eye. In the moment his strength eased, he leaned down for a fierce kiss. It was fiery and intense. as if making up for the 4 years of absence. My heart raced, my mind blank. I instinctively wrapped my arms around his neck to respond to him. The mood was somewhat delicate. A knock on the door broke it. "Miss Sue, a few reporters are outside wanting a private interview. Are you available?" I snapped back to reality and pushed him away. He held my chin tight, a faint mocking laugh in his black eyes. "Do you think those reporters know the designer they're waiting to interview was just making out with me through this door?" I had no idea what came over me. Maybe it was having not seen James in a long time, making my body release some hormones, making me intensely crave James. My hand instinctively reached up to feel his abs, stumbling over my words. No idea. Then my brain instantly cleared, pulling my hand back immediately. Quick as a flash, he caught my hand as I tried to pull away. His breath deepened, gaze more unreadably calm than ever. Worried about those outside discovering us, I widened my eyes at him. "James, are you insane?" He sneered. "You got your fill touching Zoe. Who's the real crazy one here?" I kept silent, and he continued. "I must be crazy, needing more, letting you touch." His demeanor sort of spooked me. I was pressed up against the door, one hand cautiously reaching for the handle. Above me came a sudden soft chuckle. Alarms blared in my head. He slowly pulled my hand back up, resting it on his abs. His abs seemed even more toned than before I left. He'd already had me begging for mercy before with that. Now my thoughts strayed, face blazing red. Blushing already. "What'll you do later? Since you've started, you better get your fill." I looked at him with slight wariness. "I'm satisfied." "Who said you're done? You keep going till I say it's enough." My mind raced off track. "What about the reporters outside?" His gaze turned cold. "They can wait." I asked again, "You don't hate me? I might have killed you. But I remembered there's other ways to torture you." What's the plan?" His warm hand lands on my waist. He grips my waist tightly with one hand, and uses the other to hold my thigh, lifting me and pinning me against the door. I was about to gasp, but he put a finger to his lips, with a serious look in his eyes. "Shh, don't make a sound if you don't want them to hear. 'Cause I'm not stopping." He's not just unpredictable. He's taken it to a whole new level of weird. A long time later, there's a bite mark on my neck. He did that on purpose. "Pain makes it harder to forget," he said, staring darkly at the scar. "So he's just harsh and intense, doing everything to make sure I remember." After it all ended, he went back to being distant and cold. I noticed him pause for a moment. Then he asked, "Who's Xiaozhou written for?" The question hung in the air. He turned and left, and my heart rate calmed down. Only then did I notice several missed calls and messages from the staff. I quickly apologized, saying I wasn't feeling well, and fell asleep in the lounge. They didn't think twice about it. When I stepped out to catch a ride, I saw a familiar figure at the corner. Noah, James's assistant. It's been 4 years, and he's gotten even quieter. When he got close, he tossed a cold statement my way. "James relies on medication to stay rational. Selfishly, I hope you can help. If not, please don't appear in James's life anymore. His condition could spiral." I realized then that James was sick, and it seemed serious. I found my sister too, and even met up with her. She's got this androgynous style, and kind of looks like me. She wasn't too keen on acknowledging me though, seemed a bit awkward about it. With her working a side job every day, I gave her a card and kept checking in on her. I never felt family warmth, but I hope she can. I've been super busy lately. Our meetings are always so short. A company I'm collaborating with sent a guy named Chris to invite me to a banquet. It's full of high rollers. Chris wanted me to make a good impression, and maybe pull in some funding for my future personal fashion show. I nodded in agreement. Once inside, I realized a lot of the guests were people I knew. Chris took me around, introducing me, hoping someone would be generous with investment for us. I smiled, going from table to table, offering toasts. They laughed while watching me. One guy exclaimed, "Turns out it's Miss Sue. Long time no see. Why does it seem you're not doing so well? Only filling in as a little wine girl." Yeah, not quite what the boss would have wanted. I kept my cool, smiled along. Didn't want to make enemies or trouble for me or Chris. Then he smirked nastily. "Why do you look like you've got bigger boobs now?" An arm wrapped around my shoulders. I jolted and saw a face that could easily be mistaken for either gender, closely resembling mine. My sister stood there. She glared at the man. Man, your insecurity makes you look like a leftover from the Qing dynasty. Why worry about someone else's chest? Spend that time figuring out how to fix your size problems, huh? I burst out laughing. She stood protectively in front of me. The man's face turned an ugly mix of colors like a paint palette. He sneered, "What's this? Now that the boss is gone, you latch onto this skinny cock? Follow me to the hotel tonight and have some fun. I'll fund you a bit." He reached out to grab me. Cheers erupted around us, everyone enjoying the drama. Most there were familiar faces. Back when I was with James, I'd offended a bunch of them. Some tried cozying up to James, dragging me down, mocking me. Some even attempted physical threats. But in the end, they either got beat by me or taken down a peg by James's people. Pain wasn't just physical. Their companies felt it too. They didn't dare hold a grudge against James. Now that I'm no longer with him, they think picking on me is fair game. Screw this business. There's no point continuing. In a flash, I smacked him hard across the face. The room went silent. He quickly tried to kick me, but an arm caught my waist and lifted me into a spin. A familiar figure kicked the man without hesitation, asking coldly, "Did that feel good?" The room buzzed in shock. Even my sister was taken aback. No one expected James to show up, never mind intervene. Word was that James and Zoe had split harshly, never to reconcile. James set me down, looked at me, brows slightly furrowed, begged me, "And I might help you." I replied, "But haven't you already helped?" His gaze held a hint of frustration. My sister nudged me and whispered, "Sis, why didn't you tell me your husband was so handsome?" Strangely, that comment seemed to improve James's mood a lot. Unknown to me, when I returned, I secured my investment. Word spread around a city that the woman who disappeared from the boss's side is back, and the boss is protecting her. My sister still didn't agree to live with me. She got adopted by a good family, and their home is peaceful. I'm happy for her. Back home, I spent the night looking up news about James, glimpsing sides of him I'd missed all these years. One entertainment news piece caught my eye. It was a video with a gallery of images. The headline screamed, "A city's boss goes berserk, spends big to shake up the city." The video showed James in the same suit he wore the day I left. His eyes were bloodshot, like he hadn't slept. He was stressed out, way beyond limits. The camera angle was perfect for catching his real expressions. James's gaze seemed to pierce through even the screen, making the person behind the camera jitter. Even my heart skipped a beat. Next to him were the cake and snacks he'd brought for me. Rumors and updates about James filled the airwaves during that time. But soon all that news disappeared. Rumors said James used some methods to make sure no one dared to report on his private life anymore. Even the entertainment news I saw before, joking about the Smiths and the Greens forming a union, and claiming James and the Greens' little princess were a perfect couple, vanished. Suddenly, Noah's words echoed in my mind. I typed James sick into the search bar. Nothing came up. Wendy suddenly hugged me from behind. "Mom, I saw that handsome uncle again today, and he's the one Wendy likes as her dad." I smiled and played along, hugging her and taking her to bed. Weirdly, Wendy has always resembled me since she was little. Besides being allergic to mangoes like me, she has almost nothing like James. Just as I was stepping out of the bedroom, my best friend called for me from the living room. I went over. She stared at me silently for a while and sighed. She said, "Actually, after you left, James came looking for me." I met her gaze sharply, but he didn't seem in a good mental state back then, like he was always holding something back. I was afraid something might happen, so I stuck with not knowing where you went. But I know something about him that others don't. He's got mania now, often suffers from insomnia, and mostly relies on medication to barely manage. Zoe, if you still care for him, I support you taking a chance. Whether he likes you or not doesn't matter. What's important is how you feel. If he doesn't like you anymore, it doesn't change anything for you. I pressed my lips together, my eyes bright with conviction. He still cares for me. James was a neat freak. When I started being around him, everything had to be sanitized 3 times a day. Any close actions meant cleaning up first. But later, he stopped sanitizing me and just did it himself. Most people couldn't get near him. To cope with living by his side, I became a neat freak too. Maybe that's why I could stick around so long. But last time in the lounge, I didn't smell the usual disinfectant before any close moments. And now he showed up to help me. When he kicked that man, he looked particularly fierce. Suddenly a call came through. An unmarked number. But I clearly remembered it was Noah's number. The moment I answered, a rare anxious voice came through. Miss Zoe, James had an episode. It's really bad this time. My voice cracked. He should have called a doctor. Noah. But James only called your name. He won't let anyone near him. Plus, he's got a fever. Then call the Greens. Why call them? The news said the Smiths were linking with the Greens. Noah, sounding chased by wild beasts, quickly explained. That was tabloid nonsense. James has no ties with the Greens. My palms went sweaty. My indecisive thoughts vanished with this call. I was acutely aware. I still cared for James. I'd never forgotten him. So I went. I heard things crashing inside the villa, along with gasps and screams. Chaos. A group of maids gathered outside, whispering, afraid to get close. When they saw me, all their faces lit up with surprise. Miss Zoe, you're finally here. James is inside. I was here because I couldn't ignore him. But wasn't seeing a doctor the most important thing, if he was having an episode? Why did they look at me like I was a savior? As I got pushed towards the villa door, realization dawned. I smelled blood. Inside, Noah and a bunch of guards were trying to restrain James. James' eyes were bloodshot, his aura murderous and manic. No one dared get close. I'd never seen James like this, exuding such a terrifying vibe. He had one guard by the throat. More guards laid out across the floor. Noah caught sight of me and his expression changed. Didn't you bring the serum? What serum? He shouted, get out, close the door. James has lost all reason. Too late. At some point, James focused on me, his dark eyes never blinking once. His grip suddenly relaxed, the guard fell back. But he didn't move. Just stared straight at me. Like a puppy. Why did it occur to me to compare James to a puppy? On instinct, I tentatively reached a hand out. Are you coming over? Noah. He was like a pup suddenly spotting its owner, head bowed, looking oddly obedient. Sniffing, he came up to me. After a moment's hesitation, I hugged him. He felt burning hot. I quickly checked his forehead. He nudged my palm with his forehead. Zoe, Zoe. He kept repeating my name. From a distance, Noah? Am I part of this act you're running? Soon, he returned with a syringe, like giving a shot to a cow. He stabbed it into James' arm. I locked eyes with Noah. Showing off gets you killed, he said dryly. Together, we helped James to his room. Heading back out to get him some hot water, I stopped at the study door. James never liked me going into his study back then. I was his girl and relied on him to have a place in City A. We have nothing between us now. I wanted to see what the study looked like. I opened the door and went in. And it was filled with pictures of me. Frozen where I stood. His room was plastered with my photos. Some from years ago while I was still in the country. But most were from my past 4 years abroad. A storm of emotions roared through me. Never did it cross my mind James always knew where I went. He knew every move I made abroad. Yet he never sought me out. I don't get it. He should despise me for playing games, should want to wring my neck. There was a knock on the door. I turned to see Noah. He said, James didn't dare come see you. Why? Because you hate him and want to draw a line. James doesn't want to bother you. And besides, he said you have a kid with Lucas. After he said that, I couldn't help but picture James's life over the years. He might stare at the photos on the wall, resisting the urge to see the latest pictures of me, yet still filling the room with them. He saw Wendy and didn't even dare suspect she was his child. So he got someone to beat Lucas up. But he really got it wrong. I delivered Wendy 2 weeks late. But I told everyone I conceived a month late. There's just no way she could be his. It's understandable he thought that way. I caught a glimpse of a piece of clothing peeking from the door and laughed. How has James become even more childish over the years? I didn't call him out. I poured him a warm drink and brought it to the room. James sat up slowly. I sat beside him, helping him drink. He drank quietly, then leaned weakly against me. It felt strange. James was always the strong and invincible type around me. Then he suddenly said, With you here, my sanity's back. Zoe, I'm really sick. I only just found out. James wasn't ill just after I left, he's been sick all along. But it worsened after I left, becoming harder to control. He could only rely on special medications. I didn't know any of this. His manic episodes led to him hurting people. That's why they kept chains in the villa. For when he loses control. All these things he once tried hard to hide. And now it all came rushing to me. It was intentional. He intentionally showed me his vulnerabilities, revealing his wounds. He didn't want me to see him weak before. Didn't want my pity. Now with his hair damp with sweat, face pale, and those dark eyes showing fragility and confusion, he lightly buried his head against my neck. Zoe, spare some sympathy for me. He's still the CEO, just more calculating now. After a brief silence, I asked, do you hate kids? He hummed an affirmative, very much. I didn't respond much to him that time. I quietly left when he slept. Wendy means more to me now. I wouldn't give up on Wendy for anyone. My mom died of blood loss when she gave birth to my sister. My dad quickly remarried and said my sister died too. But he actually sent her to an orphanage. I wasn't sent away because I was older, could do chores, follow orders. Later, my dad got into gambling, lost everything. My stepmom left him, took their kids. My dad sold me to a casino owner. The day I was sent to the casino owner's bed, I ran away. Ended up where James was set up. Somebody was trying to get a woman to him. And it worked in my favor. I've craved family all along. I was unsure how to reconnect with James. Afraid my return could worsen his condition. So when Lucas asked me out, I agreed. Hoping to ask about James. And the photo stuff. I asked if James ever came looking for him after I left. His face was annoyed. Soon after you left, he went crazy searching all over the city. Once he found out I helped you, he and his guys beat me up. I was bedridden for a month. I expressed sympathy. Didn't your family handle James? His face darkened. They did, sent thugs to hit me. For taking James's woman. They almost disowned me. I awkwardly laughed, offering him some food as an apology. While he drove me home, he said I'm a bad guy, so taking James down felt good. Though I don't know why you left him. You're definitely the one he cares about the most. Men understand men. His gaze when he looks at you is unmistakable. I froze at his words. His eyes looked past me, suddenly smirking. He reached over, ruffling my hair. Not many kind guys like me out there. You figure it out. I pondered his words. Just as I reached my building, I felt hands on me, a familiar chest at my back. His scent unmistakable. A hand gripped my chin, turning my head. He kissed me. His deep voice whispered in my ear. Zoe, you think of everyone but me? Was summer boat because you liked my writing, or to get over me? Zoe, I'm a total lunatic. You know what a lunatic wants to hear? I shook my head, cupping his face, standing on tiptoes. Kissed him while my eyes shone. I like you. He froze in disbelief, asking what I said. I stared into his eyes. James, I think I might still like you. His gaze quivered, about to kiss me again. A small figure ran out, hugged his leg. A cute childish voice. Uncle, you're here. Mama, this is the dad I found myself. Oh dear girl, you brought your actual dad. He's rich and good to Wendy, no side girls. I like this dad. Mama, go get him. James's face was cool, a bit dark. Zoe, what do you take me for? Just say you like me, and I'm your kid's dad? I laughed through tears. James looked into my life abroad. He knows I didn't date anyone. Yes, maybe a few suitors. But the only one who could be Wendy's dad was him. Wendy's bright eyes glanced between us, like she was figuring out a mischievous plan. Then whispered to me, Mom, hurry and get that new dad. He's so stubborn, don't listen to him. James. His whole persona just fell apart in front of Wendy. I couldn't help but laugh. I crouched down and asked Wendy to go back and wait for me. Once she was gone, James spoke softly. Does it hurt? I was taken aback. He looked at me without blinking. When you were giving birth, why wasn't the guy who got you pregnant right by your side? Suddenly, I understood what he meant. Was he really worth it? Made you leave the country, risk everything just for having his kid? I asked, what risk? After a couple of seconds, he admitted, your mom had a severe bleeding after childbirth once. I didn't want you to go through that. If it had been me, I wouldn't have let you have a baby. I couldn't quite grasp the absurdity of the situation. My throat was tight, it was hard to speak. After a long pause, I finally said, "Do you know when Wendy was born?" "March 21st, 2019. I was surprised he remembered so clearly. Then I shook my head. "Not March, it was February 8th. I kept it hidden on purpose." He was shocked and contemplated. Suddenly, staring at me with a trembling voice, "Wendy." I nodded. "Wendy is our child, there's no one else. I've always loved only you from the beginning. You don't need my sympathy because I've always liked you, never changed." I told him about overhearing him chatting with his friend that day, and a lot of other things. Finally, I lowered my head, grabbing one of James's hands, fingers interlocked. Then I looked up into his eyes. "Get back together?" He squeezed my hand back, fingers trembling too. "I've been waiting for you to say that, for so long." I remember he said. It was the first time his friend said that in front of him, and he didn't expect it to push me away. It wasn't just regret for that moment. It wore on him day and night for years. But I regretted it too, regretting being young and too afraid to boldly express my love. When James realized my best friend was the one who encouraged me to take that step, he straight up gave her a company. My best friend couldn't keep her mouth shut for a whole month. Panic-stricken, she asked, "What if I don't know how to run a company?" James calmly replied, "If it goes bankrupt, I'll give you another one. And if you have questions, just ask at our company." And I became the biggest shareholder of S Group. When my best friend got too charmed by James, she didn't hesitate to kick me and Wendy out just like that. And we ended up smoothly moving into James's villa. James and Wendy face to face, both with serious looks. "James, where's your dad?" "Wendy, my mom says I don't have a dad. My dad is far, far away. And he's a big bad guy, always bullying my mom. I really like you, so will you be my new dad, please? But you have to get through my mom first, or Wendy won't accept you." I was having a mini panic, and hurriedly pulled Wendy over. Spent half a day explaining to her that she has a dad and it's James. It wasn't her dad abandoning us. I also explained the misunderstandings between us. After hearing it all, she stayed silent for a bit. "Then Dad and Mom have to tell me they love me every day." Once the misunderstanding cleared up, she smiled like a little son. "Wendy has a dad now, just like other kids. I often visit my sister, bring her food, care and take care of her." At first, she wasn't used to it, but gradually, she opened up to me, accepted me. Then suddenly one day she asked me, "Oh dear, I've gone from cheap labor to just labor-free childcare." But Wendy behaved so well, sometimes even had a quirky side. Even the family that adopted my sister loves this little bundle of joy. Everyone was happy together. Initially, I thought the difference in backgrounds between me and James would be a deal breaker. The Smith family definitely wouldn't approve of me and James being together. But they surprised me by saying, "It's great, after everything, it's still you two." Then I found out that James had brought up marrying me with his family 4 years ago. The Smiths had already been won over by James alone. Later on one morning, I dreamt of cake, woke up groggily and nudged James. Mumbled, "James, I want some cake. Can you go get me some?" No response for a while. I opened my eyes a bit dazed. Suddenly met his anxious and intense dark eyes. One word at a time he asked, "Are you thinking of leaving me again?" Only then did I suddenly remember that this was the reason I had used before to get James out and slip away. I hurriedly shook my head. "No, this time I really want some." He said nothing, quietly got up, gently carried a sleepy Wendy over to the room next door, gave Noah and them instructions to look after her, then came back. As soon as he came in, he locked the door. A seamless action. His dark eyes stared straight at me. "It's about time we settle the past issues." With that, he gripped my ankle, pulled me entirely toward him. I was taken aback. Men, they really hold grudges. But when I woke up again, there was a pigeon egg diamond ring on my right ring finger. Almost blinded me. "James, we've got a lifetime of issues to sort through slowly." Noah's epilogue. According to Noah's later memories, not long after Zoe came back, James had an episode. My first thought was to call the family doctor. I told James, "I'll call Dr. John, have him come check you out." But after I said it, James didn't respond, just stared intently at me. With a serious face, "I'm sick, need someone to take care of me." I didn't get it at first, tentatively said, I'll call the madam. He didn't reply, his eyes heavy as clouds. I hesitated. Then I'll call Zoe? At that, James looked away. He said, I'm seriously ill, need someone to care for me immediately. At that point, I finally understood. Quickly dialed Zoe's number that I found through inquiries. Zoe, James had an episode, he's really sick this time. James nodded in satisfaction. When I heard Zoe mention the Greens, I quickly chimed in. I knew it, another chance for a raise. Oh, by the way, Zoe's sister was also found by James. After he got the news, he had me casually leak it to her best friend. Just a few days passed, and there was no movement abroad. James had a grim face the whole day. He sat meticulously in the living room. After a while he graciously said, never mind, her sister's info is useless. Let's start spreading the word that I'm seriously ill. No sooner had he spoken. My phone rang. Zoe was back in the country. The end.